Welcome back again to Sempa 360. I am with my good friend Imara Kashagama, a lecturer in history, Pan-Africanist, editor-in-chief of a Pan-African TV station, worked on many stations. Right now, he's also lecturing African history. And we're going on one-on-one. We were just talking about what?
The Batrezis,
the climbing mountains,
yes,
and the obsession with football.
Yes.
And this gay rights idiot who climbed our mountain.
Yes.
So anyway, you enjoy climbing mountains?
Absolutely.
Are you looking for spirits?
No. No. But it's important, first of all, to know the environment you're in. We can't keep talking about the mountains of the moon. The most important monument in history, it was the first major point of civilization in the world. And we don't know it. I felt very sad that it took somebody from outside to come and get all these reporters to go up there. They should do that all the time. I've climbed Kilimanjaro because it was important for me to go and see where it is. How can you be in Africa and you don't know where Kilimanjaro is, you don't know where the Nile is, you don't know where not Lake Victoria, Nalubale, you don't know where the Lake Lutanzige is. You know, what's wrong with, why shouldn't we climb this mountain? We should go and do this as part of our cultural.
Imara, you must be aware, and I do not want to be a hypocrite, that in our country, we have a very small middle class that has the ability to travel, to go away on vacation, to take walks on the mountain. We're very few. For most of the people, that more than 70% or 80% of the people, they're barely making it. They're in debt. I mean, they have to send kids to school. They have to find transport, pay the landlord. It's a very depressing economy. I mean, we make less than we have to spend.
However, our situation is not as bad as, say, the blacks in the U.S. under the old system or under apartheid in South Africa. The churches here make so much money, I don't see why they don't take the kids to camp in the mountains to show them their country.
I'm a pastor. I have to tell you. I've been a pastor at the university. All these fictitious lies that you hear of wealthy churches, there's some quacks out there, I have to tell you. I've been a pastor at Makerere University for 20 years. And I got to tell you, I have no money. Okay? The offerings of university students are made up of 500, 1,000 and 5,000 shillings. If you are to make money, don't work with people of potential. Go look for the rich in Muyenga or somewhere Kabalagala. That's the church. Maybe you will get those.
What they have to do is this, right? If a person can't afford something, then the institutions we have can do it. If not the churches, then the schools. As part of the curriculum, it should be, instead of reading about Rwenzori in the book, take the class to the mountain and show them this is Rwenzori. That's education. If you want to show the children where's the Nile, get them from Gulu, cross over to Amuria or wherever the Nile is, and then go and show them this is the Nile, touch the water, take it back home. But we have all these things in front of us and we don't do it. How much transport does it take, surely, to go and find the Nile?
No, we are in a border economy. And I have to say this one, as most people have blamed the national resistance movement, President Museveni, for economic difficulties. But I don't see many people blaming the World Bank. In 1992, it was 1990. We resisted the imposition of privatization at the university. These are days of Mayombo, Nobad, Mayombo, what was Mayombo's name? The late.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Nobo
Mayombo. Hey, that's close because Mao is also called Nobat. I got confused. I went to school with both of them, and Kulaije. We were resisting the imposition of these policies, and 30 years of having to deal with this World Bank policies has created a lot of problems. So when you talk about how don't we drive students from northern Uganda, there's no Uganda bus service. It's all border economy. It's all private buses. It used to be. So,
but you know what? Even when these things have failed, you can't say you cannot use whatever other means. We're very creative.
Trucks collapse along the way. But your point is taken. We need to visit our local...
Okay, the army in Uganda has resources to take kids. They should have an army program and they should take the children to Rwenzori and they show them this. Why not? How many battalions? They have trucks. They have trucks.
They just run, didn't they just run the Miss Uganda and now they're running NADS?
Yes, they can run the education system too.
I want to to recommend the army for building the train. Give me that. The Uganda army, I think, is well positioned to quickly build the train. I think that's one thing they can do.
The Chinese army built the economy there. The factories are all built by the army in China.
Hey, I think that's a great idea.
The army can do it.
Why
in fact, when Museveni took power, he had said everybody should be in the army. We should all be soldiers. Why not?
I've always wanted to go to Chankwanzi to get practice in learning how to shoot a gun. You know how to shoot a gun?
But it's better to practice how to save lives. I know how to shoot a gun, yes. I do. I do. But the army should teach you how to survive in bad conditions, how to survive and how to save other people's lives. That's what the army does.
The last days of the Chwezi dynasty.
Yes, yes.
What happened?
The Chwezi dynasty was the tail end of a long, long dynasty of emperors in Central Africa. Now, most people don't know, but the empire was actually called Shenzi Empire. Now, it's become an insult, and people who had those names have denied them. But even in Buganda, you say Basenze. It's the same thing. You say Sese Island. In other countries, they say other things. But the word Shenzi was the empire. Now, the word Chwezi means that the people who came last. The ones who came before were called Batembuzi, but it was the same line. So there are about 6 or 7 recognized Chwezi leaders in that dynasty. And the first one is called Mugarra. The second was called Ndahura. The third was Mulindwa. The fourth was Wamara. The fifth was Chomia. The sixth was Kagoro. Then there was Kakaraka Shagama. And then the last Chwezi ruler was a woman called Kamaranga Njunachi. Right? After that, Nkore became the empire broke up into these little states, into Nkore, Buganda, Bunyoro, Karagwe, so on and so forth. Right? But the Bachwezi, they were normal human people. In fact, they were all Basongora actually.
In the last,
and if you go to Kasese, you can see where the crowds were.
This is why I want to ask you.
Yes.
You love cows very much.
Yes.
The famous cow called Bihogo, the spotted cow.
Brown.
Was it brown?
Brown, all brown. No
it got sick and it died.
Yes.
The king had promised that if my cow dies, I will also die. And a wise man from the northern part, all the wise men could not discern why it had died, and they brought a man from the north, okay, who found its intestines in the feet, and he said that I see the end of the Chwezi dynasty, and that night the king led all the Chwezis and they disappeared. I want to find out from what were the internal contradictions within this great dynasty that ruled Shenzi, that ruled from Congo
to Kenya, and South Africa, the whole of South Africa. It's great Zimbabwe. Everything.
What caused such a sudden end?
They were attacked.
What lessons do we learn?
They were attacked by the Muslims in 856 AD. After Islam had taken over Egypt, they began attacking Nubia, and in 652 AD they made a pact. It's called the Pact of 652 between the Nubian king Khalid Rut, what you call the Nuba, the Nubian, the state, the Nubian Federation in southern Sudan. And they said, you supply us with 400 slaves a year. So they turned to their southern neighbors, the Shenzi, and began supplying slaves. And these slaves went and revolted in Iraq for 20 years, and they took it over. They took over Iraq and Iran. It's called the Great Zenji Rebellion. And they defeated the Iraqis. But the Tulunid Muslims in Egypt went and fought them, their own brothers, and they defeated them. And then the Arabs then turned on the Tulunids and defeated them. So division within African communities happened, but it happened because of religions, Islam and Christianity. And the other thing is this: at the time when the Shenzi Empire was collapsing, there was an epidemic, a cattle epidemic, rinderpest and other things, that they destroyed the society. When they say Bihogo, when you say ente in our culture, there's no plural. It actually meant all the cows, not just one cow. So if I say to you Ninente, okay, I mean I have many cows, but I only say I have one cow, right? So
I would recommend for you to read Tales of the Dark Baganda.
Yes.
Written in 1924.
Yes.
By an European anthropologist who gathered
John Roscoe.
No, it's a lady. It's called Tales of the Dark Baganda.
Okay.
But it wasn't really Baganda. It's really she recorded them from Bunyoro, and she sat down with all the kings, the medicine men, and wrote down. And to me, I was reading the chapter of the end, the moral collapse of the Chwezis. The women became too strong. People were cheating. There was no longer trust. There was a breakdown of hard work.
Yes.
I would put it to you that for you, you are blaming Islam. You are blaming this pact that I have not had in my reading on the end of the Tracy dynasty. But I put it to you that the collapse of the Western civilization, as you're talking about, is internal contradictions. And the collapse of this great Trace empire was from the collapse of the moral internal decay, which even up to today, we hear that they took off. And they walked in the night. A cantankerous woman reminded the king. Was it Wamara? Who was the last one?
It was called Kagoro. Junaki Kamaranga, a woman. The ruler, the last ruler of the Batrezi.
Now she's the one who told the king and said, "Look, king, you promised that the day your favorite cow dies, you will also what? Kill yourself. Why haven't you fulfilled?" And that is the last night the man laid out.
The problem is this: when they were writing the Bunyoro history, and the history is they minimized and reduced all the things to small legends and things like that. These are powerful states. Those things never actually happen like that. These are metaphors. It's like you tell the story of creation, but you use a child's story, right? When you're talking to a child, you use simple language, right? But the actual scientific analysis of who these people were, right? The reasons for their collapse are not trivial, and they're not frivolous. They are deep economic structural things, and they have to do with the climate, they have to do with the economy.
I think you are refusing to accept Batraces are called demigods. Is that scientific? Batraces dynasty, they are known today widespread across that they have superpowers. So when you refer back to scientific, you are missing out the issue. But we'll follow up on this debate because I am very interested on what led to the demise of the Tracy dynasty. One last thing I want to bring up to you. You are, how old are you?
Now 40.
40. I had a 40-year-old man yesterday, James Onen, fat boy. He's not yet married, and you are not yet married.
Yes.
What could be the reason why? And maybe I can have in my audience
I'm getting
someone.
married soon.
Are you looking for someone that could a Pan-Africanist woman? What is delaying you?
Oh, I can't hurry love. You know, take it easy. You can't force somebody to do whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, and not only that, I didn't grow up with the need to lie about things. Many people get married now for strange reasons. The guy has a car or he has a fancy.
So for you,
lie. So I tend to be very honest with people, and I don't try to brag.
Would you marry a Christian girl?
I don't mind. I can marry. What I care for in a person is kindness. Are they kind? Are they intelligent? It doesn't matter what religion they are. What is important is, can they understand what you're doing?
How about a sophisticated liberal lawyer, student of Sylvia Tamale?
I have debated many people, but they change their mind once we meet, and they realize that, you know what, whatever they're following that is not right, they have to change. But
what's your prediction of the next 50 years of Africa? Darkness, light, confusion?
It's very simple. If we don't get our act together as Pan-Africanists and save Africa, unify ourselves and build our own army and our own currency and our own banks, we are going to get chewed up one by one, and we shall disintegrate and break up, and we'll be colonized. They've done that to other people in the world. So we have to be very careful about that. And if Africa fails, the planet will fail.
Thank you so much. If Africa fails, the planet... Give a hand clap to my man, Imara. Listen, thank you so much for joining us, Sempa 360. You can find my our recordings on the YouTube channel, WBS. Look up Sempa 360. You can be able to find it, and you can be able to email me, give me a feedback on my program, or find me on my Twitter @MartinSempa, or email me sempam@gmail.com. On behalf of our crew here, have a good night. God bless you. Be back next time.
Thanks very much.
Mr. Imara. Well done.